Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Recap, a guy's review. If you're new to my channel, we take notes, read them back to you. No edits, no jump cuts, just me, you, and some gossip drama. What are you guys thinking of the season so far? Leave a comment. I'm actually really liking it. I think the production value is amazing. We'll get into that in a second. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, and let's jump right into it. Jesse Palmer enters week 3 to a room full of excited women, and then he drops off the date card and then goes golfing because that's what he gets to do. It's the best job in the world. He's like, here, go on a date. I'm out of here. And then it goes to Katie. Katie gets the one-on-one date. Katie comes downstairs in her formal outfit with an applause. They gave her an applause. She looked so good with a bias cut cowl neck satin green dress. Zach walks in and some of the women sniff him. That's right. Hey, look, you got to sniff the guy. Don't blame the ladies. Get to know as much of him as you can. Maybe grab his butt. I don't know. It's a TV show, right? Just a poke. Poke it. You know what I mean? Check the merch. The date starts in the evening, champagne in the back of a limo. This is a producer's dream. This date is flawless. They show up to a museum. He has the private key. There you have it. Where the old Chris Harrison, forego your hotel room for the fantasy suite key. But it's week 3. How are they doing this in week 3? What the hell's going on? By the way, look how nice Katie's teeth are. This is what happens when you're from Canada. You have health care and you can get braces when you're a kid. All right, not us crooked British folks. All right. Anyway, they go on the date. They're at the museum. There they are having dinner in front of a T-Rex, or is that a T? Yeah, they got a T-Rex and maybe a Triceratops there. Whatever. Did the dinosaurs even look like this? They always find like one bone and like, this is what it looks like. Anyway, what do I know? Katie says she wants to feel safe. Breaks down a bit, says she just wants a good man in her life. She says she just wants the basics. Well, let me tell you something, Katie. If you just want the basics, I've got Zach, Amazon Basics, Shell Cross here for you. And I mean that with all due respect. He's going to give you exactly what you're looking for. They smooch in front of a dusty old fossil. No, Chris Harrison wasn't there. Zach offers Kate a rose. But wait, there's more. Zach asks her to spend the night in the museum with him. Doesn't he know how this goes? Ben Stiller's like, I thought this was my thing. I thought I did the night in the museum thing. All right, the date is actually super cool. They have the fake fire pit, cool tent, woolly mammoths or elephants, whatever the hell they got back there. That's a good date. This looks like a great date. They run through the museum in their silk pajamas. I'm jealous. I am jealous of this date. I'm also jealous of the pajamas. They look so comfortable. Also, no, here's the deal. Silk pajamas when you're cuddling for the first time. All they need to do is pop a Molly and call it a night. Could you imagine if they had mushrooms or something and they just get to go see what saber-toothed tigers look like? What a date. Also, what a great advertisement for the Museum of National History. Would be fun if they included other deceased entities, like 95% of Bachelor relationships. Here's when the woolly mammoth went extinct. Here's when Bachelor relationships went extinct, only 3 months in. At least the woolly mammoths lasted a few thousand years. All right, back home, the women are upset that Katie hasn't been back yet. Oh boy, there they are. She should have been home by now. I don't understand. Should we send someone out to get her? Meanwhile, in the tent, they move their beds together. Did they know that there's a tent cam? I don't know if they understood that there was a tent cam. Funny enough, Zach also pitched a tent. All right, folks, this ain't no 3-ring circus. That's a basic tent, if you ask me. The next morning, you know what I'm talking about? The next morning, the women wake up. Katie's suitcase is there. Katie isn't. Of course, the suitcase, meaning if the suitcase is removed, then Katie went home. They all become investigators. Everyone's like, well, I don't know what's going on here. Katie returns in her pajamas with a rose. What do we got there? And hilarious. The other women say it looks like a walk of shame. Look, here's the deal. Technically, a walk, not to educate all of you, not to mansplain. Or not to shame-splain you. A walk of shame is when you come home in the morning wearing last night's clothes. That's why it's a walk of shame, because it's 7 a.m. and you've got high heels on in a Starbucks. That's a walk of shame. If you come in the morning in pajamas, that's more of a stride of pride, if you ask me. Group date, no rules in the game of love. So we're on to the group date here with Hannah Storm, LA Chargers legend Sean Merriman, and Antonio Gates show up for the football date. Full tackle football. What could go wrong? Jesse Palmer in his element. Broadcasting with Hannah Storm. Remind me, Nick Viall, how Jesse Palmer isn't qualified to host the show. Remember, Nick goes, why would Jesse be a good host? Just because he calls some football games? Yeah, that's exactly why, and he crushes it. It's the speaking of crushing it, it's the Shall Crushers versus the Balzacs, which is probably whoever wrote Balzacs needs a raise. Give them a 10% raise. I actually love the production quality. It's the highest quality football production they've ever done. I mean, look at this. They've got professional equipment. It used to be they'd put them in a couple, dinky little outfits and run them across the field. But this is like a full-blown sport. Everything except their actual physical abilities. I mean, some of them were physically able, but some of them, like this first down disaster, did not do too well. An injury on the first play. It's almost as if they didn't sign up for contact sports. It's almost as if that's not why they came on the show. All right. Gabby peed her pants. Hey, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? We all pee our pants. Sometimes we leave skid marks, too. It depends how hard they hit you. I have to say, it's nice seeing them in proper football gear. Blue balls are pretty good. Christina with a great block. Blue balls come out the winners. Time for the evening date. So let's get into the evening date attire. There's Gabby post-pee. Evening date. Christina does the thing that happens every season where she sort of talks about her one-on-one date with the group, makes it seem like she's farther ahead. And this happens. It's braggadocious, but it's really like an insecurity when someone feels the need to tell everyone else how far along she is. Charity tells Zach it's hard to compartmentalize things they don't want to hear, like Christina and all of, the moves she's making. Bailey tries to get some reassurance from Zach, but he ends up sending her home. Wild night for Bailey. Bailey's like, I just want to like him to tell me where he's at. And he's like, if you don't want to be here. And she's like, what? How did that happen? Zach says he didn't want to lead her on. So that's good for Zach. But at the same time, I'm actually shocked that Zach is being so forward. I mean, to be completely honest, I would lead people along. I mean, I would. Why? Because I'm spineless and I don't like confrontation. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Charity gets the roast. Christina's pissed. She thought she was going to get it. And the fighting begins. It was such a calm, empowering night. Everyone's, everyone's kind of rooting for each other. And then it gets to the point where Brooklyn calls out Christina. Let's go to that image, wherever that is. We already passed that. There's Brooklyn. She calls out Christina, says every situation she turns things around to make it about her respectfully. She calls it respectfully. And then the fight begins. Christina says she's trying to be 100. Listen, if someone ever is like, I'm just being 100, they're being 100% rude. No one's ever 100 without getting a 0 from everyone else. Back at the mansion, Allie gets a box delivered that says, Allie, are you ready to fall in love? They open the box. It's a wedding dress. They do some tandem skydiving, smooth sailing. There they are. Smooth landing somewhere. Rachel Kirkconnell is like, this isn't fair. Because as we remember, Rachel Kirkconnell was paired up with some Jimmy Neutron 10-year-old, and they not only had a hard landing, she pretty much was concussed. Big black eye. They had to put paint over it, makeup and all that. Anyway, they go to the hot tub. I don't have an image of the hot tub, but they do the hot tub, the jacuzzi as we call it. Yesterday at the live stream, someone said I was the hardest working person in Bachelor Nation. No, the guy who cleans the jacuzzi is the hardest working in Bachelor Nation. You know how hard it is to get sparkles, glitter, spray tan, and cum out of a jacuzzi filter? Me neither. Prom. Allie gets the rose. Evening date was dazzling and unproblematic, so not much to report there. When a date goes well, I don't have many notes. Griffin Palmer gives a nice private performance for them. He is not Jesse Palmer's son. Now, I wrote that not knowing that he's actually Jesse Palmer's cousin. So he's not a Nepo baby, but he's a Nepo nephew, as I call him. Jesse tells the women that Zach doesn't want a cocktail party before the rose ceremony. Everyone gets sad. And then he says, but instead, Zach wants a pool party. Who doesn't like a good pool party? Get the blur machine ready, because there's going to be a lot of cracks that need blurring, because we watch a show where a guy has sex in a tent and we have to blur out butt cracks because the FCC won't let us be adults. Gabby applies some sunblock to Zach. Well played on the sunblock. Zach says he's soft launching his chest hair. All right, Zach knows the terms. He's hip to the jive. They're taking shots at the pool party, so it's a little day drinking, and that always leads to drama. Day drinking in the sun at a pool will lead to exhaustion. Jess and Zach smooch. Normally, I love pool parties, but this sounds exhausting for Zach. A pool party, you're mingling, but it's like in every corner somebody wants to smooch him. I mean, how many smooches can you get in before you're like, I'm done smooching? I haven't applied enough sunblock to my lips. I'm going to get chapped. Brianna feels that it isn't going well for her. Let's find Brianna. There it is. She said Brianna feels it isn't going well. She says she feels raw and dumb, or she said raw and numb. Either way, Brianna says there may not be anything there romantically, heartbroken and on her way out. Now, I think Brianna was hoping that Zach would try to change her mind, but Zach tells Brianna when he's talking to her, it doesn't feel natural, that it feels guarded. I'm surprised he's able to communicate these feelings so easily. I'd lie. Like I said before, I'd lie, and later on, no, you know what I do? I'll go up an octave and I'll make something up. No, it feels perfectly natural. It feels totally natural that we fight about Christina every time we hang out. This is not how I expected Brianna's arch to go. I kind of feel like if she played her cool, she would have lasted maybe another 4 episodes, and maybe the sparks would have come back, but I understand that's hard to do. A lot of competition. By the way, of course, Brianna has to get back to her business where she sells one makeup product marked up at 10 times the price. All right, you got to do what you got to do. Pay the bills. No blaming you there. Let me know if you need a tax guy. Brianna says she's planning on leaving. And by the way, if she promotes the business, that makes the whole Bachelor a tax write-off, right? So everything she's wearing is part of the brand. So good for her. I don't know tax laws, so don't audit me. Brianna says she's leaving. We got that. She's on the way out. She says, I'm planning to leave. Okay, Brianna says Christina has been the problem in the house. Brianna leaves. Zach gives her a big hug. That's nice because Brianna's like, look, I'm leaving, but Christina's also causing these problems. Now, we know that to be true, but separately, Brianna also inflamed an issue with Christina that was pretty much non-existent. So she's had some beef with Christina this whole time. Zach confronts Christina about the house not liking her. Christina cries on a staircase, which is kind of like what you have to do. If you're not human if you've never broken down on a staircase. I like to cry on a carpeted staircase because the wooden ones feel a little too woody, but do what you got to do. Rose ceremony begins. Genevieve has a sling on her arm. What the hell happened? What the hell happened to Genevieve? You know what I mean? One second you're in a rose ceremony, the next second you're hospitalized. Either way, we'll have to see if she can sling it, for the rest of the season. That made no sense. Rose, he can't win them all, folks. Rose ceremony begins. Like I said, these dates are so grueling. They need, medical props. Someone's going to come out with like one of those neck pads on. Christina goes home. So Christina's the only one who went home because we already lost. Who do we lose? Brianna and what's her face? So anyway, folks, that's where we stand. I tell you what, if you want any extra content, I've got it all on the Bachelor Rush Hour podcast. It's free. It's available every afternoon. Kate Casey is going to join me on today's episode, or maybe tomorrow, depending on the timing, and we are going to discuss some further thoughts on how the season's going. We're going to be, playing a little jazz. The notes between the notes. That's what we do over there. We stretch it out to a nice long conversation every afternoon. Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast, 25 to 30 minutes long. So if you have a commute home, just pop in Bachelor podcast in your car, drive, your mobile device, whatever you do. Link in the comment section below to listen to that. I'm liking the season. Let me know what you guys think. I think this season so far is going really well. Zach's kind of not taking any crap. He's playing his own game, and we'll have to see how the rest plays out. All right, folks, I'll see you in a little bit.